My immediate thought is reusable identity. I think that is, a different sort of bend on how we think of identity that's maybe different from some of the offerings that are out there today and how I think identity has been thought about broadly up until now, right? So let me explain what I mean by a reusable identity. So once you've gone through the process of essentially proving you are who you say you are, and there's a variety of different ways that we do that to varying degrees of sort of data assurance depending on your requirements. So for example, going to the airport has our highest level of data assurance, obviously. If you're just going to, a Taylor Swift concert at Madison Square Garden, we need much less from you, right? And everything in between. But regardless of sort of where that ends up proofing you, the point is that you've gone through some steps to provide that proof, right? You've given us a government issued document. We've perhaps pulled some background data about you. We've certainly taken a selfie and done some sort of biometric check. There's all kinds of things we've done to sort of establish our identity. Once you've done that one time, there's not really a need to do that again, right? And so I think that's where Clear's offering really comes into the picture. And you think about anybody who's had that experience at the airport, it's the same idea, right? So you enroll with Clear the first time through, it takes a couple minutes, you do it at the pod, it's really super fast, but you do a couple things. We grab all that information about you, we persist that in a very secure way, and then the next time you come through the lane, it's much simpler. Iris or fingerprint, boom, you're done and through. We want to bring that same experience to all the other facets of identity, not least which is finance. So I think it's probably fair to say that most Americans have a relationship with more than one bank or more than one financial institution, I should say. And in doing so, those consumers have probably done some version of KYC a bunch of different times, right? And it's usually going to be the same stuff with some additional, to my point earlier about sort of the broad landscape of KYC, some additional details depending on individual financial institutions, right? But the consumer doesn't need to do that. And I think that most financial institutions would say that like the conversion rate of that experience and how you both bring new customers on board in a frictionless way, but also make sure it's secure and compliant and a good experience for the customer, that's very challenging, right? And so where your reusable identity comes into play now is that if you've already established that identity and done all those checks in a secure way that can then be preferred to a new use case, a new node in the network, if you will, right? Then that becomes much safer, much easier, I should say, and safer. So in other words, that experience could look like I'm coming to new financial institution XYZ. I'm already a Clear member who's proved my identity at some level, and there's this new financial institution is asking me to KYC or sign up in some way, shape, or form. Oh, I see an option to use Clear. That's great. I click on the Clear button. It pops up a little modal. It's embedded in the experience. It goes, let me just grab a quick selfie. Check. Oh, yep, that's Nick. Okay, here's all the information about Nick that you need to know. Account is open, right? Now, for the consumer, that's a way better experience, but also it's secure, safe, private. They've consented to it. They're aware of what data is being shared, right? It's all within their control and hands. But for the financial institution, they've made this experience almost frictionless, right? It's so near to like instant that it's painfully awesome.